Hey guys, Iceman here. And today, Daddy decided to make a bloody Diablo 2 video about how in hell do you go about trading when the ladder resets. You know what I mean? Because there's another way, aside from the common grounds, aside from following the broad path, which leads to destruction, man. So, take the alternate route, the one that Iceman recommends you take. And guess what? That entails making a Javazan and not stacking up Magic Find. In fact, avoiding Magic Find at all costs. Because you don't want any. Even if you have a Geed's Fortune, which I tossed mine on this character. Didn't even want a Geed's Fortune, man. It's because I'm hunting for Socketables and ethereal weapons and base items for Runewords and things like that. This shit is really valuable, man. And a lot of people don't really pursue this, early on especially. But I find it to be very rewarding. In fact, you can even start finding that shit early on, and its value is really high, early on in the ladder especially. But the good thing is that its value maintains throughout. Partly because these items are kind of big and they take up a lot of space. But of course, they're rare, and with most people running Magic Find, you have fewer and fewer people who are running non-Magic Find builds, to where you are then more likely to find these base items with no Magic Find. Which is what we're going for, man. See, I actually found this wire fleece that I made this Chains of Honor in. And this is it was a 14% enhanced defense wire fleece. So it was very valuable. But I found it. And then what I did was I found a bunch of other Socketables, primarily in the cow level. And I traded them for runes and traded them for runes and just kept stacking those damn things up. And I eventually traded for a bear rune. So I was able to make Chains of Honor. And that was my first GG runeword that I made this ladder. Now the stuff I'm talking about is pretty basic. And as you can see here, as I'm slaughtering the cows, man, yeah, there's a lot. There's not many, not a single rare yet, as you can see. And a lot of white items and Socketables. See, here's the serpent skin armor. Now, if this was a rim hide, rather, which is one up from the serpent skin, it could have been very valuable, especially if it had enhanced defense. But even the ones that aren't superior still can go for like an or a mal rune, depending on their armor base, because it does vary quite a bit. So this stuff can really get you frickin' rich, man, if you're serious about it. And I also farm in the pits as well with a Javazan. You can farm the pits, then do the cow level. You might as well hit up Shank and kill a few other easy ones. And that's all you really got to do, man. You can collect some good shit. Now, here's some stuff that is important to keep in mind. Everyone likes the Archon plates, obviously. So if you find a Archon plate, whether it be white, superior, or socketed, you might want to check the defense on there, and it ranges quite a bit. So if you find a plain one with 490 plus defense, or especially if it's over 500 defense. That applies to just about any of these base armors. If it's over 500 defense and it has 3 or 4 sockets, or it's white, you might want to hang on to it and attempt to trade it. Now, a thing to keep in mind is that the 3-socket ones are generally more valuable than the 4-socketed ones. This isn't only because you can make Enigma in it, as well as Duress. But I think it's primarily because the market is more saturated with 4-socket armors and white armors, because the 4 sockets is the max that armors can get, obviously. So that'll include the white armors as well, because if you do the socket quest with a white armor from Larzuk, it's going to get 4 sockets if it's an elite armor. And if it can get 4 sockets. So it'll always get the max from the socket quest. So simply put, the market is more saturated with those 4-socket or potentially 4-socketed armors. So the 3-socket ones are very valuable. Now, if you find a superior one with enhanced defense and it's 3 sockets, I'm talking an Archon plate, a wire fleece, a great hauberk, a rim hide, and other shit, man, that's elite. Sacred armor even. Some people really trade up for a sacred armor that's superior or ethereal. So keep those elite ones, man. Holy shit. Look at this. This is one of the most desired ones. Everyone knows about the Dusk Shroud. This isn't a joke, man. I just went into the cow level. How did I miss that thing? This is the stuff you want to look for, man. That's kind of shocking that I found this in this very video. Now, of course, we're going to hope for like 3 sockets and 15% enhanced defense would be the most desirable. Let's see what this thing is. Holy shit, man. I can't believe Daddy found one of these already. Look at that. 12% enhanced defense, man, in this very game I'm making on blabbling about Socketables and farming them for trade and use. Holy shit, look at that. This one's very desirable. This, if you trade right, I mean, it could probably easily get a Gull Rune. Now, you might be able to get a Vex or something higher, depending on how desperate people are. Man, look at that. Just in this game, I found one. See, the shit really isn't that rare. And like I said, there's just less people doing it, man. But of course, after this video is made, it might trigger more people to do it. And I'll saturate the market some, but whatever. It might balance it out, you know, because then there might be that fewer people than doing the magic finding, which of course is overwhelmingly in favor, generally speaking. Now, how the hell am I going to ID that little charm? I'm going to have to go back. I don't want to leave that cute little thing. Yeah, it becomes a problem when you run out of space. I don't need this piece of shit. Yeah, I'll just get rid of that one. 50 poison damage, small charm. Don't need it. Check this out, 177 right there. Pretty GG. Now, another thing you want to look for is Eth weapons. Now, my Merc wears, not even an Eth one. But you want to look for Eth polearms that are elite, ranging from 3 to 5 sockets generally. The 4-socket ones are generally more valuable. Obviously, it's because you can make rune words like Insight and Infinity and Pride out of a 4-socketed polearm. So if you find a Colossal Vulge, for instance, a Cryptic Axe, which very well might be the most valuable ones, because people desire those the most. The requirements are lower for Mercs to use, so you can get them equipped on the Merc without having to stack gear to bump up their strength and stuff. So Cryptic Axes are very desirable. Now the problem is they can get 5 sockets total. So this is what ups their value even more, man, is if you do find a 4-socketed one, you're freaking lucky. Now, there's also the opportunity to cube recipe it. There's a cube recipe, look it up on the Ariat Summit website, to where if you get an ethereal polearm, you can put a few other items in the cube and it'll give it random sockets from its minimum to its maximum. So you can do that with an ethereal Cryptic Axe. Because like I said, if you socket it with Larzuk, the Cryptic Axe is going to get 5 sockets because Larzuk always gives them the max sockets. That's why you got to cube it. If you get 4 sockets from the cube, or if you find a 4-socketed one, you're freaking lucky. And that thing is going to trade for a hell of a lot. Probably a high rune, just for some basic item, man. That's what's so awesome about it. Oh, here's a Wire Fleece. I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, sometimes the high defense Wire Fleeces, if they're 30s, they can go for Mal, or Ist, depending on who you get in game, man. But those Cryptic Axes, keep an eye out for those. See, this one's really low. It's still in 300, so I wouldn't keep that. If it was like 480, 490 plus, I traded one of those for probably an Ist before, a 4-socketed Wire Fleece. But yeah, dude, those Cryptic Axes are freaking GG. So keep your eyes out for those things. And another one is the Thresher. People like the Threshers because they have low requirements as well, and I believe they might be the fastest attack speed for the Mercs. And if you get a Great Poleaxe, you just get style points from Iceman, all right? Because the Great Poleaxe looks GG. And it's basically the highest end polearm type in the game, I believe. Because it stems from the Halberd, which I remember back in the day, Halberd was like the highest polearm you could get in Diablo 2. You would find them in like Act 4 in the original game. And they were awesome. And they look really cool. And their damage is great as well. And their attack speed, I believe, is pretty high as well for the mercenaries. So if you get a Great Poleaxe, just remember, Iceman sends you congratulations for that, all right? Now, other things to look for are swords and stuff that you can make those GG runewords in. Like a 5-socketed phase blade, for example. Those are quite common, and you could almost always get a mal rune for a 5-socketed phase blade, man. So keep an eye out for the phase blades. Now, they can get maximum of 6. If you get a superior 6-socketed one, which I actually found one this ladder, a 15% enhanced damage superior 60s phase blade, people can make last wish in those. And although that's extremely expensive, but the market is very small for that, because obviously you got to be freaking rich to make a last wish. But they're there. But the people who are there are willing to pay for a superior 60s phase blade in order to make their freaking GG last wish. So if you find one of those, hang on to it. You could probably trade it for a high rune, no problem. Because like I said, the folks who are making last wish are rich, man. So they're going to trade up. They're not going to want to waste time looking around in games and trying to get a good deal. They're going to give you a freaking high rune for that phase blade. And there's a ton of other things too, man. The colossal swords to make Breath of the Dying or perhaps Death in other rune words. Ethereal ones. Obviously, if you get a plain ethereal, non-socketed colossal sword, you got to check their max sockets. Go on the Ariat Summit website. In the case of the colossal sword, their max sockets are 6. So you could Larzuk that thing and make Breath of the Dying. And those easily go for Ist, Gull, sometimes Vex. And like I said, if you get a superior one, especially if it's high enhanced damage, man, you're going to get a freaking high rune for that shit. And the same applies for a Colossal Blade, which can max out at 5 sockets. People like to make Death out of that. And Death is a ladder rune word. Ladder only rune word. So they're going to want that shit during the ladder, especially early on. Etin Axe is another good one. I traded those for a Mal. Just a plain ethereal Etin Axe, man. It's because people like to make Death out of those things. They always get 5 sockets from Larzuk. So it's a quick Death Axe for folks on the ladder. As well as a Berserker Axe. Probably one of the most desirable ones, I think, are the Colossal Sword, the Phase Blade, and the Berserker Axe. The Berserker Axe, there are a lot of versatility to them. People like to use them on their Zealers and also their Frenzy Barbs or Shield and Axe Barb. Berserker Axe is all around a good melee weapon. It does high damage, a good attack speed, low requirements, and it can range on any sockets, man, from 1 to 6. So those Berserker Axes trade fast. You got to get the Berserker Axes and the Phase Blades, man. They trade fast. I would say the Berserker Axe is probably the most high demand one that you can get in this list. So keep those GG Berserker Axes. If you give it a 5-socket one, it's going to be probably more valuable than the 6-socket one, because the same rule applies. You know, the market's just simply more saturated with 6-socketed ones than 5, because you can make a plain one into 6 just by Larzuking it. But the 5 one, you got to get lucky, or you find it that way, or you get lucky in the cube recipe. And you can cube recipe the armors as well. Say you really, really want a 30s armor, and you find a plain one. You're going to have to cube the damn thing if it's an elite one, because like I said, it's always going to get 4 from Larzuk. Now, another thing is weird-ass helmets. You can find plain, like, barbarian helmets, and sometimes they'll have plus skills. You can get up to 3 BO skills, battle orders, on a single plain barb helmet. So they like those because they can socket the damn thing and then make a rune word out of it, like Dream or some of the other ones. Dream and what's the other one? Delirium. Because then that'll give plus skills as well. Plus 2 skills and plus 3 BO, if that's what its base is, giving you a total of 5 battle orders, man, on a helmet with some other awesome mods because it's one of those expensive rune words. You can also get helms that are for droids. You want to keep an eye out for droid helmets, like a Falcon Mask, for example. You want 3 tornado on these damn things, because the droids love their tornado skill. Nope, it's a superior, but it doesn't have any skill, so it's worthless. But if that had 3 tornado, man, that thing could be worth a high rune. And obviously you'd want to get the elite ones, but even the normal ones will trade for a frickin' high rune, man, if it has 3 tornado. So keep an eye out for those, man. It's more of a rare market. You know, there are less people playing those builds. But the ones that are, it takes them forever to get their shit. So they're going to give you a good offer when they finally catch you in a game or whatever, in a trade game, and you have the helmet they want with 3 BO or 3 to Tornado. And another thing to keep in mind is, check this out. You want to find ethereal armors as well, because people cube bug those. If you do the cube recipe with an ethereal armor, it gives it an additional 50% enhanced defense. And look at this. I have the 720 defense loricated mail, which is high end for an ethereal loricated mail and an elite armor in general. So I'm going to socket this with the cube recipe is my intent. And I'm going to hope for like 3 or 4 sockets. Probably 4, because then you can make fortitude or stone armor or chains of honor for your mercenary. And it's obviously going to have easily over 1,000 defense if you add an additional 50% to this thing. So it's going to be an ethereal armor with over 1,000 defense, maybe 3 sockets, maybe 4 sockets. That shit's worth a lot too, man. If you get a really nice one, super high defense, and the socket someone wants, they're going to give you easily an Est, a Mal, sometimes a Gaul, sometimes a High Rune, if it's super high defense, and if it's the armor type they want. Some folks are strict about sacred armors, for example, just because they get style points for using them, and they look GG. And of course, they have the highest defense in the game out of all the armors. So get those ethereal armors as well. But this is the kind of shit that you guys need to find if you want to go this route. If you don't want to do the traditional magic find route, which everyone does, it gets kind of old. In this last ladder, I didn't do it. I didn't do any magic finding for the most part. I was finding shit like this with my Javazan. And just trading it up, man. People trade a hell load of stuff for these base items and Socketables. But let me know what you guys think about this list. Screw it, I'm going to go get my charm back. That charm sucked. And yeah, I'd really appreciate you guys' feedback on this video. And what are some of your advices regarding trading for the upcoming ladder? Let me know in the comment section below, and subscribe to the page. I've been working on this channel, and you guys have been really supportive and stuff. You know, like my subscriber base is going up, and I appreciate it. So I'm definitely looking forward to making more with this ladder coming up as it is. So like the damn video and subscribe. I'm the Iceman. More videos to come.